Love it or hate it, I think crypto is going to explode in 2025 and shock everyone. Yes, even the biggest bulls like myself. I know it's not the most popular thing to say right now, but I'm going to show you why I think something really big is brewing and what that means for altcoins. Yes, I am talking about your altcoins. So right now, we're about back here in the grand scheme of things. I believe we've got most of the pain behind us. Okay, most of the ups, most of the downs, most of the ups and the downs that come along with essentially being in a bear market for altcoins. Like this chart here that looks at Ethereum versus gold, I think it's pretty obvious to tell that we are towards the later part of this. Anything can of course happen, but what I'm waiting for is for Ethereum to break through this dotted trend line up here. That will be the very start of, I think, a very bullish move. Once it, of course, breaks through all-time highs here by this solid white line, I think that's when alt season begins to go crazy. And I want to just remind you all, I know how hard it's been for a lot of us to go through this up-down roller coaster. Okay, you can see here on Cardano's chart, the same actually happened in the last cycle. Those of us who were around back then, I think, remember this. That's why we're not as emotional in this bull market, okay, or bear market, whatever you want to call this, okay? We had 4x up, 71% down, and we had a 2.5x up, 70% down, 8x up, 50% down, before eventually we kind of came back to the dotted line here, which was the bear market high, and then Cardano did a 23x actually. Now again, I believe we are at this yellow box as it stands right now, and just to show you, all right, Cardano was no small coin at that yellow box. It was a 1.8 billion market cap coin, and in the previous cycle, that was huge. At 5 cents, it went up to $3, hitting a 100 billion market cap. The same story can be told on all of these charts, okay? We're looking here at Binance Smart Chain up, okay, almost a 10x, down 70%, up a 2.5x, down almost 80%. We went up a 6x before then going up a further 17x in the blow-off top moment for that coin. Again, we are roughly speaking down here right now. Chainlink was, of course, the same. Okay, it actually went up at 31x, went down 70%, up a 2.5x or so, down 50, up a 2.5x, down 70, then up a 3.5x before then putting in another 10x. But again, the pattern does continue because it 10x'd after breaking through this same middle point here, which happened to be that bear market high. So you can see in the previous bull run, guys, a lot of chop happened. Okay, a lot of chop, these ups and these down, up, down, up, down. Okay, the pattern followed through for all the altcoins, and Ethereum led the charge. Now, most of you know that the reason why we kind of are having this up and down, up and down, up and down moment now is because why we kind of stalled over here was because interest rates were so high, it kind of pushed things out approximately 12 months, like literally 365 days. So we're going through these emotions now, but like I said, I do think we are at the very end of it. It's normal to chop underneath ETH all-time highs, essentially. Okay, you can see it back here, on average, up a 4x, down, up a 2x, down, up a 5x, down, and the same patterns are playing out here. The good news is that Ethereum, while it is up and down very choppy like the previous bull run or bear market, okay, the good news is it's exhibiting the same behavior, so we can roughly speaking expect something similar to happen yet again towards the top side. I get so many DMs about Ondo particularly, or many other altcoins I talk about, like, Kyron, why aren't these coins moving? Now, these coins aren't moving, guys, because the barometer for altcoins aren't moving. Ethereum, okay, isn't moving. It's not time for them to move. These coins move sideways for a very long period of time, and they chop, as we just saw a lot, up a lot of multiples, down like 70%. This happens until ETH breaks highs, we have likely interest rates lowered, we have just really good conditions for risk on markets, especially crypto, to pump. Crypto is the microcap of the risk on markets. You have the stock market, crypto is literally seen as a casino. So when you understand that, you realize that these things can come back very, very quickly. Take a look at this. The bear market high over here for Ondo is around $2.10, just like it was here for Cardano at around 10 cents, BNB over here at 40 bucks, Chainlink over here at $5. The list goes on. So what does that mean? That means what we're waiting for now is for Ondo to go up about a 2.5x. And then from this point, when it gets back to those highs, then it can go up and go into some pretty crazy price discovery. If a coin has an all-time high over here as well, once it breaks that all-time high, that's when the crazy moment will happen. But like I showed you guys with all of these other altcoins, this does actually end up happening. We are just not at the phase yet where that happens. We're down here at the equivalent of around 5 cents for Cardano when it has to break through its 10-cent bear market all-time high. These coins are just waiting for Ethereum to do it first. And just like Ethereum's up, down, up, down, up, down right now, like it was back in the previous bull run, it will happen again. I strongly do believe, but it will come in favorable conditions. And the adoption is the big thing people are missing out on here. They don't realize that this crypto market is far different from the previous markets. While we have more money sloshing around crypto, we have far more interest. We have no idea really where the prices of these coins can go, but I'm going to say now it's probably much more than even people like myself, who many people in my recent price prediction video said, I'm dreaming, right? Even I think, predict. So Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, said, remember I said the GigaChad bull run is coming. We are going to see 250k Bitcoin and trillions enter the space for altcoins. Genius and Clarity Axe will be the catalyst. What he means by Genius and Clarity Axe are the stablecoin bills that are coming into place in the US, which, as it might suggest, is going to be a major step in terms of adoption and in terms of pumping your altcoin bags, because the major barrier for many people to get into crypto is taking their fiat and being able to buy crypto. If you make it very easy for them to buy stablecoins, which is the onboarding process, then all hell can break loose. I want you to have a listen here to Sergey, the founder of Chainlink, and what he said recently.
If this regulatory clarity happens this year, it could be this green light that really sets next year up for kind of a scalability and a boom in adoption and in the approaches that you described.
The boom, the adoption, the growth he's talking about is stablecoins, is the very things that I'm talking about here that will help push our altcoin positions up. We're talking about institutional money coming in, and that's going to give the confidence for many other people that currently don't give two craps about crypto to want to come in and take a peek. With stablecoins going mainstream, banks and credit card firms are going to be interested. We've already seen MasterCard here work with Chainlink, and I will read this because it's huge, to bring on all of MasterCard's 3 billion odd users into crypto. MasterCard and Chainlink are teaming up to power Swapper Finance, a new way to buy crypto directly from decentralized exchanges using any MasterCard. On-ramping has never been easier. In previous bull runs, this has not been an option. If you have a look at Raoul Paul's global macro investor forecast for the growth of crypto, we far outpace the internet growth, which is in black here. As a matter of fact, by year 10, which is December of this year, it's expected we'll have about 1.1 billion users. Going back even as far as the previous bull run, we barely struck even 400 million. And this prediction was made many years ago. What we have now again is stablecoins. What we have now is literally the legalization of crypto, the legitimization of stablecoins, which will in turn bring in more people. So it's likely we have more than 1.1 billion people, which is, what's that, like around 15-20% of the world's population likely soon involved in crypto. Even JP Morgan, these guys are notoriously anti-crypto, have recently been working with Chainlink and Ondo to settle some real-world asset transactions on the Ondo network. Fed Powell has even endorsed stablecoins. And since the very high of the previous bull market, stablecoins have grown 77% and don't seem to be slowing down. TVL is also increasing a lot by the blue line here. We're at $170 billion in TVL, very close to the high in 2021, and the bull market hasn't even started yet. You can see here in green, this is the DEX volume also picking up well higher than back in even the previous bull market. Not to mention the 26.5-year S&P cycle is about to blow just like it did on the very tail end here in the 2000s, well, 1999, which was, of course, the dot-com bubble. We could have a further 30% room in the tank to grow if this blow-off top is anything like the last 5 26.5-year cycles. Yes, that is how accurate this currently is. And so I think right now, most people are still in stage one, emotionally beaten, because if you look at altcoins really haven't moved all that much. And you can see stage 2 doesn't really start until basically the breakout of the previous cycle's high. So stage 3 is the previous cycle's high. Normally stage 2 comes around that time. You can see better in this example over here using the S&P stock prices in the background. If I pull this up on Altcoins chart, this is excluding the top 10. You can very clearly see this, right? This is back in 2014, the get me out phase, right? The very, very bottom, we have phase 1 down here, we have phase 2, and then phase 3, the very, very big blow off top moments. We come down to the get me out phase, we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Notice how we have the conclusion of the 2018 bull run over here roughly at the same time we have the breakout from phase 2. And that's important because I believe that will come yet again over here. It'll either happen in phase 2 or again at the breakout, simply because phase 2 is when we have disbelief. People still don't believe we actually are breaking out, like this thing is actually happening. I think we are still in phase 1, but I think we are towards the very end of phase 1 because people, I've noticed, still don't want to believe that coins can go up a 10x, 15x, even a 20x. All the pumps we've seen in crypto so far, okay, over this bear market period, so the 2023 one and the 2024 one over here, was only a 30% or 40% jump in the others' dominance. Look how small these are compared to the previous cycles. We had a 2.5x, a 3x, and almost a 2x growth in each of these dominance, which I believe is wave 1, this is wave 3, and this is wave 5. And I believe those 3 big waves are coming again this time, and I'll show you why in just 1 second. But this blip we've experienced recently, this 10% little jump from the lows down here, just to show you guys what that does for even the large cap altcoins, okay? Take a look at this. Bitcoin is up in just this 1 week, 8%. ETH is up almost 20%. XRP, 30%. Okay, look at some of these, like Stellar is up, was up 100%. Hyperliquid up 23%, and so on. The list literally goes on. I'll let you guys look at this yourselves as I scroll down here. It is just incredible the amount of growth that comes on a little minor fraction of a jump. And if we have what I believe to be us just simply going back to the highs in terms of 20% dominance for others, so for altcoins, at a 10 trillion market cap, that's $2 trillion. I'm not saying it will go to 2 trillion, but I believe at some point in time we will break through some very key levels while the market is hot, like we did back in the previous cycle. Because if I toggle the total market cap here and just show you guys this, okay, you'll notice that the total market cap actually peaks around the same time altcoins are at 20%. So there's a good chance if we go to 10, 12, 15 trillion market cap, alt should have around 20% of that if we go back up to this white line. Now, I've thrown these wave 1, wave 3, wave 5s around. If you haven't seen the channel before, I'll briefly explain what these waves are. Essentially, this chart here is others' dominance over Bitcoin's dominance. So what it really tells me is how much of Bitcoin's market cap altcoins currently have. It's a bit of an obscure thing to look at, but you'll see why it's interesting here in a second. We can look at this and really figure out when it's truly alt season. So in these yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red periods, this is actually complete alt season. The blue periods here are Bitcoin season. So what happens here is we go into these descending wedges in Bitcoin season in blue. When we break out of this, what typically happens here is the 5 waves. So wave 1 here in yellow, this actually is where we have altcoins like Cardano here, okay, like BNB, Chainlink, and so on, even Ethereum, right? This is the white line. This is where they break back to their bear market highs. So wave 1's a very important wave, in my opinion, to just assess your altcoin positions and figure out what coins are good, what coins are bad. If a coin doesn't do well in wave 1, it's probably going to be a bit of a lagger. So you might want to just sell it and then move that money into a coin that has been performing well when we have wave 2. Wave 2 is this red dip here where Bitcoin kind of goes up more than altcoins, okay? But wave 3, while it doesn't look big here back in 2021, it is by far the biggest wave, and you can kind of get a bit of a glimpse into that on this chart over here where it went up a 3x in terms of dominance. So it goes up quite a lot. So wave 3 is the big moneymaker wave you can see here. That's what I'm personally waiting for. And I think a lot of people I've seen on my recent videos are doing themselves a really big injustice because they're looking at, again, coins like Ondo here, and what they're doing is expecting the coin to be way up here right now when it's just simply impossible. As you can see, it is just not where we are in this current state of the market. We're not even in wave 1 yet. We're still in the bear market season like I showed you guys before. So really, we need to wait for, all of our coins, but Ondo in this example here, to see how it does in wave 1. Can Ondo get itself back up to where it should do, to the bear market highs or around about there? And then from this point, it will chop if we go into a wave 2. But then wave 3, that's where the money's made. And you can tell whether a coin should do good or not in wave 3, depending on how much strength it gains again in wave 1. From these prices, Ondo going up to $20, give or take, which, shoot me, I get it. It's one of my possible predictions for the coin. All right, it's a 22x. But again, wave 1 will allow this coin to make that a much more realistic, in terms of crypto realistic at least, right, jump for about a 9x. This is what I'm saying, guys. Predictions can seem crazy down here, but I'm telling you right now, they were once adored and seemed very possible to many people. back over here in December of 2024. Just remember that. If you are someone thinking pessimistically right now, thinking there's no way Ondo even breaks above $10 or any of your coins do more than a 2 or 3x, just remember that when the market starts pumping. I want you to be pessimistic when everyone else is bullish, because that's when it actually matters, not when everyone else is pessimistic. So I think wave one, again, when we break out of this descending wedge, which you can see here, altcoins are really trying to right now, which is a good thing. Okay, what's going to happen is we're going to have wave one break above this 27% line you can see here. So that means that altcoins will have 27% of the market cap that Bitcoin has. And then we'll probably come down a bit, break back under, and then wave three should send us higher than the previous high over here, which means we'll roughly have 50% of Bitcoin's market cap at that point in time. Wave four might come back under, and wave five might blow us off to about the 75% mark. So what I'm sort of getting at here is essentially, we could see, depending on where the global market cap is and therefore what, Bitcoin's dominance is and so on, we could roughly see around 1 to 2 or even 3 trillion market cap for altcoins. Okay, which means roughly speaking a 4, 7 to even an 11x for the others market cap. And those who watched my video a few days ago, this one right here, where we kind of spoke about this and found this in a different way, what that ultimately means is that the average top 100 to 200 coin should do those multiples in their market cap. So let me just rephrase that. Essentially, the average altcoin in this area should do roughly between a 4, 7, and 11x. Now, the 4x I think we can get rid of, because I think this will happen pretty easily, because if you remember, the way we found this here was us breaking through this 27% marker here, which I actually think we do in wave one. So I think we get actually a little bit higher than that. So altcoins should basically roughly on average, give or take 4x. It does depend on where the global market cap is at these different levels, of course. So this is all with a little bit of expectations on the market, but everything ultimately is anyway. So we're more looking here, I think, towards the 7 to 11x, which kind of lines up with this video. But what I got wrong in this video, well, not wrong, but what I didn't fully account for actually was this. So I spoke about, the massive move here altcoins made, where they roughly speaking the top 200 coins, 11x, therefore the average coin 11x's in this time in the previous cycle. What I didn't account for here was the fact that we aren't in wave 3 yet, guys. We aren't even in wave 2 yet. We're in wave 1 still, particularly down here. We haven't even broke past bear market highs yet. So really, we have much more room in the tank back here. The previous cycle, the average coin did a 23x from where we are right now. So all I'm saying is not that we're going to 23x on average for the top 1 to 200 coins, but what I am trying to get at, guys, is we have a lot of room to still grow here. What many people also tend to forget is the fact that, altcoins work in narratives. So, Ondo might go to $2, for example, then it might jump to $20, and it might be a 60 billion market cap, but that doesn't mean every other altcoin has their all-time high then as well. You'll have some coins like Render at a 10 billion market cap or 20 billion market cap simultaneously. Then you'll see Ondo, for example, go down and, Render will go up. I guess my overall point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that I think people are going to be shocked when liquidity meets crypto-esque blow-off tops, especially when coins like Ondo are in price discovery back when they're in the bear market highs, which can happen very, very quickly in wave one. And if Bitcoin goes up to some of the multiples we're thinking, or at least the market cap zones, which I think is pretty standard here, we're thinking the total market cap can go to 12 trillion or 10 trillion, Bitcoin even being half of that at 5 trillion, alts roughly be speaking around 50 to 75% of that, which means they're going to have around $2.5 trillion to $3 trillion invested in them. That's a long jump from where they are right now at about 270 billion. So these are just some things to think about. I really hope you understand. I'm not trying to give you FOMO. I'm just trying to make you aware of what could possibly happen here. The most important thing, guys, is selling. Okay, so the best thing to do is just make a few multiples, but aim for the highs. Maybe on some of the portfolio if you really want to. I preach a lot in the private community about this. If you want to come join like-minded people who invest based on data, not emotions, and who want to destroy and tackle this market, your best place to find us is, of course, in the vault with the links down below, and I'd love to see you guys in there, okay? So thanks so much for watching this video. All the best, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.